Let's see, what do you guys on up here?
From Bethel Park at Bethel High School, this is WHCS coverage of Peninsula District Baseball. The Bethel Bruins versus the Hampton Crabbers. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz, and we welcome you to a sun-drenched Bethel Park for the contest between the second-place Bethel Bruins with a 10-2 record and the Hampton Crabbers in third place with an 8-4 record. We, of course, last saw this Bethel team last Friday afternoon in much different weather conditions, but in a game that had an equal amount of importance in some senses when they defeated the previously unbeaten Kecoughtan Warriors. And the Bruins, unfortunately, couldn't sustain their momentum. They lost the next day in the showcase contest, but they hold a firm grip on second place right now. But Hampton would like very much this afternoon, Bob, to do something to change that.
Well, Tim, that's true, and I was talking to Danny Mitchell earlier, and they have lost 4 games, 2 of them to a team they felt like they could have beaten, and that's Warwick. And he says, I don't understand, everybody else beats Warwick, and we can't. We beat everybody but Warwick. And if they had beaten Warwick, they would be tied right now for second place. So
all right, we're ready to get underway. The first batter for the Hampton Crabbers is Matt Westheimer. He is the second baseman for Hampton, and he will be facing the same pitcher we saw last week, Chris Oxenfeld for Bethel. And the pitch just off the plate. The battery mate for Oxenfeld this afternoon, Mike Revere, young man who we saw belt 2 home runs last Friday afternoon against the Warriors. Big left-hander delivers, and it gets the call this time. Pitch looked very similar to the one that was just off a ball previously. 2 balls and 1 strike to the batter. Swing and a miss, 2-2 the count. Base umpire this afternoon is Ed Freeman. Behind the plate, Ken Galt.
Well, Matt, Tim, has been bat 26 times, and he's batting. He's not batting very well. He's only 0.74.
And he hits this one sharply to the shortstop. Paul Hall over to first in time for the first out of the ball game.
And that young man, Paul Hall, we saw him make a play against Kecoughtan that had he not made it, there would have been a couple runs scored. That was a great throw from deep in that shortstop box.
Luke Wheeler, the first baseman, steps in. He'll bat from the left side.
Now he's batting .368, Tim.
First pitch is a called strike. There's an appreciable wind this afternoon. This is a curveball fouled down the first base line, so we're looking at the batter now 0-2.
Well, you know, we watched this young man pitch against Kecoughtan, and Mike Revere behind the plate did a great job. Breaking ball really breaks down into the dirt. Talking about Chris Oxenfeld.
Pitch is just a little bit low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 away here in the top half of the first inning. Homestanding Bethel Bruins and our arch rival, the Hampton Crabbers. Oxenfeld registers his first strikeout of the ball game as swinging on the third strike is Luke Wheeler. That'll bring up the right fielder, Mike Smith.
Now this young man, Tim, is just a sophomore, was back up as a quarterback on the football team, and quite a good pitcher in his own right, just a sophomore.
2 away in the first. Southpaw delivers, and this is just off the plate for a ball.
Tim, I was talking to Bouchard before the game, and as a team, they've used 7 pitchers this year, and as a team, their ERA is 2.02. Now, that's really good, but let me give you something that's even a little bit better than that. Looks like it's going to be out of play.
Slicing foul down the first baseline.
One of the pitchers' ERA is a 4.20. So if you factor that into all the rest of them, and they still come out with a 2.0, and that's about double what it was last year for this young man. Can you imagine what it'd be if you take two off of that? It'd be like a .089 or something.
Swing and a miss for strike 2. Ball and 2 strikes the count. 2 away in the top half of the first inning. Temperature at game time in the low 80s. Very humid afternoon, but a nice breeze coming in. Well, I guess it's more or less coming in from the right field area across the field. So it'll definitely favor the pitching this afternoon, at least at this moment. In the dirt. Ball 3, so the count is full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes, nobody on, and 2 out in the top of the first. Due up after Mike Smith, should he reach, is Adam Phillips, who is pitching this afternoon. Swing and a miss, ball in the dirt. We saw a lot of that the other day, put out at first base for the 3rd out. So 1, 2, 3 in order. The Hampton Crabbers go down, and we did see the other day against Kickintan, Chris had a bit of a problem in that he'd get the first 2 batters out early in the game, and then he struggled early in that game. He gave up some runs early, but settled down later on to get the win.
And neither one of the pitchers pitched real good. Andy Lee was pitching for Kickintan. They give up a lot of hits and a lot of runs. But it was a cold day. If you remember, we had the sweaters on, and I put a jacket on. I was still cool.
It was definitely a chilly afternoon last week when we did that the Bethel Kickintan game, and this afternoon is a marked difference. It's a beautiful afternoon.
Almost at least 30-some degrees different. One thing that you'll notice here, Tim, is a little bit different. The Hampton catcher, who is Ryan Reed. Now, Ryan is going to look over to Danny Mitchell. Danny is going to signal in the pitches that he wants pitched. Now, Bouchard does not do that. He talks to the players, and they know basically how they're going to pitch, and it's between the catcher and the pitcher what they're going to throw. But Danny calls every pitch that is pitched.
Adam Phillips, the right-hander, number 15, going for the Crabbers, has pitched 23 2/3 innings. He has allowed 21 hits, 13 runs. He has an ERA of 3.8. And he's registered 21 strikeouts in the 23 innings, 18 bases on balls. He's allowed 1 home run, and he comes into the game with a 3-1 record.
Hey, we got a picture. Whoa, had it and lost it.
He had it and lost it.
Man.
Story of my life.
Whoa, wait a minute now. We talked to Donna about that.
Maybe we need it on channel 4. No, there's something there.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. We're okay at this end, I think.
There we go. Now we got it.
Look at there. Look at there. Hey, we got the Sports Place people here. Brian Cartwright's here, and Dave Chubb. We'll get the wide lens here and get him in there. Had to slip that in. Dave is slimming down. Well, we appreciate that. We got the shirts that we got on, compliments of the Sports Place over here on Big Bethel Road.
First pitch to Alfred Terrell is high and tight for a ball. These are the shirts that are almost worn out. Is that the one?
Yeah, the one I told him, you got the one that says Turner's on it.
Exactly.
I said, we got to get new shirts here.
Terrell is the leadoff batter. He'll be followed by Hall and Oxenfeld. Strike is called. 1-1 the count.
290, Alfred. He didn't get on the other night. Never got on at all at when I said the other night, the other game we did against Kickintan. But if he gets on, he is a threat to steal.
Pitch was a little bit low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bottom half of the first inning, no score. Hampton and Bethel hit sharply up the middle for a base hit. So Alfred Terrell almost took off Adam Phillips' leg with that shot as it went right back up the middle, and a base hit for Terrell, so we'll get a chance to see if in fact he'll show us some of that speed. And the batter will be the shortstop, Paul Hall.
For those of you that are familiar, of course, with the Bethel Bruins, you know that Mr. Terrell is also quite a football player, as wide receiver and a defensive back. In fact, affectionately called one of the Munchkins by Coach Kyles, who we got a chance to talk to earlier. And we want to thank Bethel Bruins, Roger Bouchard, his staff, and Coach Kozlowski, and all helping us.
Terrell in at second base, no problem on the steal as he made it easily.
Great backup on the throw by the second baseman for the, that's Mike Smith that plays at second. No, I'm sorry. That's Matt Westheimer. Backed up that throw. It could have gone in for another base.
So the Bruins now, with nobody out, have a runner at second. And ball 3 is the call against the left-handed hitting Paul Hall. He'll be followed by Chris Oxenfeld, the pitcher. And, of course, we saw Chris use some of that strength last week as he hit a home run against the Warriors. Strike called.
Well, the fence is a little closer at Kecoughtan than they are here, too, in all fairness to Andy Lee. This young man is doing a great job at shortstop for the Bruins. Only non-senior starter, sophomore Paul Hall.
Foul tip. Runs the count full now at 3-2. Oxenfeld and Revere due up after this batter. Hit for a base hit right side. It'll advance the runner, and the ball is bobbled, and easily scoring is Alfred Terrell for the first run of the ball game. So the runner is unable to advance to second as the right fielder, Mike Smith, kept the ball in front of him, but couldn't come up with it, and Terrell was going to score anyway on the base hit.
He was moving, and that showed you some of that speed he had, Tim. I don't think even if Mike had a cleanly fielded that ball, he'd had a shot at Alfred.
So a runner on first now and a run across. And from the stretch, Phillips delivers. And a strike called to Oxenfeld, the pitcher.
Yeah, that got the left corner, the outside corner on the left-hander Oxenfeld.
.421, Mr. Oxenfeld is batting coming into this game. Not only does he pitch a mean game, but he also hits well. This one fouled out of play down the third baseline. Oh, 0-2 the count as Phillips gets ahead. There you see the coach, Bouchard.
Yeah, we never did mention the coaches.
That's the head coach for the Bruins, and Danny Mitchell is the coach over at Hampton. Good job of holding up on that pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Had an ocean, but held up.
Yeah, he did. Blair Wood assists Bouchard, and Danny gets a lot of help from Henry Morgan. But the rules in the Hampton system, Tim, is you cannot have but 1 adult on the coaching staff, different from Gloucester or Lafayette or the Newport News systems. They can have 2 adults on the bases.
Ball hit sharply to center field, backing up and making the grab. And quickly back to first base goes Paul Hall. So Oxenfeld got all of that one, but did fly out to the center fielder. And that wind, as gusty as it is this afternoon, is going to make fielding that ball just a little tricky.
Who was that in center field for the Crabs?
That was Steve Redfern who made the nice play.
That was a nice catch because it looked like he might have lost it a little bit, or the wind maybe moves that ball a little bit too.
That's what I say. There's quite a gust out there. The batter now will be the catcher, Mike Revere.
A young man put on a display the last time we saw him.
Hit 2 dingers against Kecoughtan last Friday.
In fact, when they had a man on second open on the first base is open, they did not hesitate to put him on base.
Pitch is high for a ball. 1-1 the count, 1 away, runner on first, and 1 run in. I guess you might say ones are wild. Revere comes into the game hitting .324. 3 home runs, 2 of them last week, as we said. This one's fouled back out of play. On deck is Brandon Hobeck. He's the right fielder.
Revere is batting .324.
In the dirt, good stop. But the runner is going to advance without any difficulty. Paul Hall down to second. Reed did a good job of keeping the ball in front of him, but just couldn't find the handle in time to keep Hall from advancing. 2-2 the count. Bottom half of the first inning. This one's high for a ball. Hobeck is on deck. Justin Burns, the first baseman, is in the hole. Just off the plate for ball 4, so the first base on balls of the ball game is issued to Revere. Now with runners at first and second. And we'll get a pinch runner as the Bruins will...
That's Sim Haley, Tim.
Have Sim Haley. We saw him pinch run against Kecoughtan. And, of course, in high school ball, you can pinch run for the pitcher or the catcher, and they, of course, do not have to come out of the ball game.
Well, they have a re-entry rule, which is even if it's not a pitcher and a catcher. Because I asked Danny about that deal with the, remember the base runner for the Warriors who was thrown out, and then he turned around and became a base runner again.
Swing and a miss as Hobeck cuts at the first pitch. Hobeck hitting .289. 38 at-bats with 11 hits, and he swings. This one gets away from the catcher down to third base. He's got it in time, but they can't hold on to the ball. Now they're going to say that the play is going to stand as an out. He's saying that the ball was knocked out of the glove by the runner after he was tagged out. Interesting call.
Yeah, it was.
And Bouchard does not agree with the call, to say the least.
Well, there's a good shot of Boo arguing his thing. He said he tagged him, and as he brought the ball up, the glove up, the ball flew out, as opposed to being knocked out by the runner, I guess, huh?
I wouldn't even try to speculate. We get a chance to see it again and see if we can pick up. Well, we didn't see it. Maybe we'll try that again. All right, we'll give you another chance to see it. But nonetheless, the runner Hall is out at third, trying to steal. So a bang-bang play, and the Bruins now with the runner advancing to second on the throw.
But there are now, what, 2 outs, right?
2 outs is correct. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. The batter, Brandon Hobeck. We'll show you that play again if we can pick up what might have happened. It really was an unusual call because I actually, to be honest with you, I've never heard it called that way. Usually if the ball comes loose, it's a matter of the player being safe. In any event, there are 2 outs. Get a chance to see that play again right after this pitch. Ball and 2 strikes. Hobeck fouls it out of play. Here's the play again. Let's see the runner. Got a great isolation on the runner. I don't know how you rule that. I mean, the ball popped loose. If he was coming home and the catcher didn't hold on to the ball, he'd be safe. Pitch just inside.
Yeah, that's a very unusual call because I know if you'd have done that in Little League anywhere else, that runner better be safe.
Well, I won't even try and speculate what the ruling was on the part of the umpire. He was rather emphatic about it, didn't hesitate, and made the call. Popped out of play, I believe, yeah, back behind us. Count remains 2-2. Runner on second with 2 out. Justin Burns, the first baseman, is on deck. This one's in the dirt. Runs the count full.
A great job by Ryan Reed to blocking the ball. You had mentioned earlier he had done that same thing.
And this one a little bit low, so the second walk of the inning is issued. And again, the Bruins now have runners at first and second. And the batter will be the first baseman, Justin Burns.
And 278?
278 for Burns, 36 at-bats. He's got 10 base hits. He scored 7 times and has Well, that's either 14 or 11 or what that number is.
That's 4.
4?
4.
4 RBIs. Looks like someone changed their mind halfway through. First pitch is a ball. Runners are going. And he is in safely at third. So the double steal advances the runners to second and third.
That was a nice slide by Sim Haley, Tim.
And you can tell that he's obviously good at his specialty there of base running. Trying to remove a couple of pounds of dirt from his uniform.
To slow him down a little bit if you don't get rid of it.
This game videotaped on the 29th of April, 1994. Tim Cole and Bob Hintz coming to you from Bethel Park at Bethel High School. Happy to be bringing you Channel 5's coverage of high school sports. We got baseball this week. We got softball last week. We got softball probably coming up again. We got some soccer for you.
Softball is Monday, Tim.
You got stuff. Is it Monday again?
Monday
Seems like it
here.
was just last Monday we were doing softball.
We're here with at Bethel with the Bruins and the Phantoms.
I got to check my calendar. I thought it was Monday, but I couldn't remember. Jammed him with the pitch, and he fouled it back. 2-2 the count. 2 on, 2 out. Adam Phillips has thrown a bushel of pitches here in the first inning. And the ball gets away from the catcher. He loses track of it for just a moment. And Ryan Reed picks it up before the runners can advance.
Good shot from our camera on top of the Hampton dugout.
You might be able to hear the wind in our microphones.
Oh, that's Mr. ESPN himself, Ron Baton. Fortunately, got a hold of Mr. Baton.
So the ball 4 count gives the Bruins the bases loaded now, and Marty Harney, second baseman, will step to the plate.
Yeah, good shot of ESPN, Ron Baton. And, of course, on the top of the other dugout, we got Earl Davenport, and Trevere Glass is out there in right field, I believe.
Harney batting .257.
Marty Harney, second baseman.
35 at-bats. He's got 9 hits on the season and 7 ribbies. And that's our right field camera way out there on top of the van. I'll tell you, got them all over the place.
There's Earl Davenport right there. Good shot.
Danny Mitchell has stopped the action to talk things over with his pitcher and catcher. Phillips only has allowed 1 run here in the first. Has some problems, obviously. He's the 7th batter of the inning. Harney, and the bases are packed with Bruins, so with 2 away, they'd sure like to see a pop-up or a
ground
out.
Yeah.
Get out of this inning with just 1 run. It would be, at this point, it'd be a big boost for the Crabbers. Phillips delivers high for a ball. So he's behind on the count now after walking 3 consecutive batters. Brings this one in for a call strike. Harney on the season in his 35 at-bats has struck out only 5 times. Looks at ball 3. And by the way, we do want to thank both of these teams, their coaches, and the statisticians for providing us with this information. Believe me, without it, makes it very difficult to bring these games to you. This one is fouled out of play down the third baseline. So the count runs full now, and with 2 away, the runners will be going on the pitch. On deck is the DH, Chris Morant. This one fouled down the third baseline into the crowd. Pretty good little crowd on hand
Yes,
for
there
this
is.
afternoon.
And they're still coming in. They try to get Dave Chubb down there. He moved quicker than I thought he could.
Again, the runners on the pitch will be moving. And this is a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Adam Phillips really helps his own cause by getting out of a huge jam with the bases loaded. He's able to strike out Marty Harney.
Well, they had, what, 7 batters that inning and ended up with 1 run.
Yeah, that was a good job by Phillips to come down the pipe when he needed to. And that's our big bad mobile production unit, the big truck crew out here. Got the A team in place this afternoon to bring you this big ball game.
Glad to do this.
All right, so we've completed 1 inning. The Crabbers, no runs, no hits. The Bruins, 2 hits and 1 run, and they left 3 in their half of the inning. Due up in the top half of the second inning for the Crabbers, Adam Phillips, the pitcher, the center fielder, Steve Redfern, and the shortstop, Hank Morgan.
Well, we saw in the Kickingham game, Tim, when there was a long inning, it seemed to affect the pitchers. Had trouble warming up over there with this weather today. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
No, and that was a good point, too, that was brought out after the fact, was that the extreme cold, not just cool, but cold weather makes it tough on the pitchers. Hard for them to really get warmed up, and I think that had a factor, not to mention the fact that both of these teams can hit the ball. So
yeah,
you had 2 good hitting teams. Sometimes you have a 1-0 game, and sometimes you have the good old 8-7 jobbers. So.
Well, I think a lot of the fans were expecting a pitching duel between Andy Lee and Chris Oxenfeld, but with the weather being cool, both of them just had trouble staying warm. They'd pitch with good inning, and then they'd come back after they sit a while, and it just Chris said he had trouble getting warmed up and loosened up.
This is Oxenfeld delivering to his counterpart. Phillips fouled down the third baseline, out of play.
Phillips is batting .474, Tim.
That's not shabby.
No, it isn't. He's been 18 hits and 38 times at bat, and his on-base percentage is .555.
First one was struck. Last time we had 3 losses and green run.
This one hit to the third baseman. In the dirt. Nice grab by the first baseman, Justin Burns. The throw from Brandon Ward was in the dirt. And Burns made a spectacular play to dig that one out and get by half a step the runner, Phillips.
Well, not only in the dirt, Tim, but it was wide to the right, and he kept his foot on the base. That's what really impressed me with that play.
So a good job by the first baseman to keep a runner off the base paths. And you know Oxenfeld appreciates that kind of play. That brings up the center fielder, Redfern. There you see, very at tail end of that play, you saw the good dig in the dirt. Steve Redfern, the batter.
Batting .242.
At a hefty .428 on base percentage. Ball is in the dirt for ball 2. Oxenfeld with a 1.35 ERA comes in a little high. So he falls behind on Steve Redfern. Oxenfeld has 2 complete games. He's the only pitcher on the Bruins staff that has a complete game. He's got 41 strikeouts in 26 innings. So you can see that Chris Oxenfeld has been a dominant pitcher. 3-1 the count. One away here in the top half of the second inning. Big curveball. Strike two. So that one broke about a foot.
Caught that at corner, Tim. That was a beautiful pitch.
The big bender. Redfern was headed down for first base, thinking that ball was not going to break that much. Full count. Oxenfeld delivers. Call strike three.
No doubt about that one. That was right down the chute.
So after falling behind the batter 3-0, Oxenfeld bears down and gets him on a called third strike. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Hank Morgan.
Hank's been hitting at a 200 clip. But his on base, his 488 is nothing shabby either.
Obviously, he has a good eye for the pitcher. As I don't know if that tells us how many times he's walked.
Yeah, it should be 7.
Yeah, so he's just one behind the team leader in getting base on balls. He watches a strike call. 1-1, 2 away here in the top of the second inning. Crabbers have yet to solve Mr. Oxenfeld. They are 0 for 5 as a team against him. Swinging late and hitting it line drive to the first baseman for the third out of the inning. So 3 up and 3 down again for the Crabbers. And a couple of excellent plays by the first baseman.
Yes, there was. He had 2 putouts.
So Justin Burns comes up big in the inning for Bethel and preserves the no-hitter after an inning and a half. And for the Hampton Crabbers, they go down in order, as I said. For the Bruins, leading off the bottom half of the second inning, we will have the designated hitter, Chris Morant, the number 9 batter, Andy McKendry, and then the top of the order, Alfred Terrell. Mentioned to you when we've previously met here on the Bethel arena that I know this young man, Chris Morant. He used to play some baseball in the Little League days with my son, and is a really good athlete. This young man did a great job last year for Kaz on the football team.
He did that.
And the year before that as a freshman.
Linebacker, as a freshman, as a matter of fact. You're right. Good point.
So he's a two-sport star that we know of, and maybe more.
Well, he was on the JV basketball team, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right about that too. He's got another brother playing some sport too. He's a big kid. I think he's just a freshman this year, or might even still be an 8th grader. So the Crabbers facing the Bruins in the the bottom half of the second inning, and to Phillips' benefit, he stranded 3 Bruins in the bottom of first. The bases were loaded, and he was able to strike out Marty Harney to end the inning. And now he'll face Chris Morant. First pitch to Chris is a little high. Morant has not played a lot. He's been in 6 games. He's been up to bat 6 different times and has yet to get a hit. Takes the call strike. So the count evens at 1-1. Bethel 1, Hampton nothing. Bottom half of the second inning. Just on the corner for strike 2. McKendry is on deck, and the top of the order, Alfred Terrell, to follow.
Ball 2.
Outside, ball 2. 2-2 the count.
Ball 3.
This one is just off the plate for ball 3.
That was close. Got a little reaction from the Hampton fans over here on the right side.
Fouled out of play. Full count. This one is hit to right field. In quickly to, no, not make the grab. Ball gets past him. Morant makes the turn, loses his footing, but in fact gets into second base. So a good effort by the right fielder, Mike Smith, to make the play, but just couldn't quite come up with it. A diving attempt. And backing him up was Steve Redfern to keep Morant at second base.
Well, I believe Chris would have made it the third had he not fallen down. We'll watch the replay.
Here you see the diving attempt, but it gets away from him. What you just missed seeing there, you see Chris back up on his feet and able to get into second base.
He may have tripped on the bag or something. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but he went sprawling.
And now the center fielder, Andy McKendry, squares around a bunt, lays it down nicely. The only play for Phillips will be over to first, advancing the runner to third. So I guess you'd register that as a sacrifice.
I think so. Looked like a good one to me, and that brings up the leadoff hitter. Young Alfred got a hit first time up, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Led off with a single and ultimately scored the only run in the ball game. First pitch is inside for a ball. Morant on third, one away. 2 balls and no strikes. The count to Alfred Terrell. Inside, ball 3. So Phillips, who had some control problems in the first inning, issuing 3 walks, now falls behind the batter 3-0. This one on the mark for a call strike.
A nice pitch. He was taking that one all the way, Tim.
And he does the same again. So Phillips, after falling behind now, gets the count full. There you saw it, 3-2-1. Runner on third is Chris Morant. And he held up.
Well, now is your strategy, Tim, to after that walk to let him run on the first pitch with the man on third?
Did he call him out or not?
No. No, he checked with the base umpire, and he said no, he did not go around.
I thought he said you're out, so I was a little confused.
No, we got him at the corners.
Runners at the corners, as you would say.
I'll pick that up from you.
One away here. Paul Hall is the batter. He also singled in the first inning and was out, attempting to steal in a controversial play. 1-1 the count. And hit for a base hit to right field. And Morant will score the second run of the inning. Excuse me, the second run of the game, rather. And Terrell will move all the way over to third base. So Paul Hall is 2 for 2. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Chris Oxenfeld. Runners continue to be at the corners.
Hi, Chris.
Pitch is just outside. I understand that's Mrs. Oxenfeld, There's his mom.
Get a good cut. Nice and relaxed.
The runner at first is Hall. The ball is hit to deep center field, way back, and that ball will not be caught by Redfern. Terrell will score from third base, and because the ball looked like it might be caught, Paul Hall really couldn't advance very much until he realized it wasn't going to be, and then the ball was brought back into the infield rather quickly.
Well, it really was, but Tim, he was a great grab barehanded on the ball because it could have bounced over the fence, which had been a ground rule double as we watched the replay. Watch his ball bounce. And then, of course, Terrell he just walked in.
So the Bruins with 2 runs across the plate, and the pitch is a strike call to the catcher, Mike Revere. Revere walked in the first inning. Still just 1 away here, and 2 runs across in the inning. Runners at first and second. Ball gets away from Ryan, and he's unable to get Ryan Reed, that is. He's unable to get the runner at third, and Oxenfeld also advances on the play.
Mike is batting .324. Tim has had 9 bases on ball this year, 12 hits. Only one that's hit more times than he has been Oxenfeld, and there's one right up the middle. Nice.
In time at first base.
Man, what a play.
But a run scores. Hall comes across the plate for the 3rd run of the inning, and Oxenfeld ends up at third. So a bang-bang play there, a good effort by the shortstop to get the out. And that'll bring up Brandon Hobeck, who also walked in the first inning.
Man, I thought that ball was going to get through the infield. Great play by the shortstop.
Yep. That's Hank Morgan with the big play. Swing and a miss to Hobeck. 3 runs across here in the bottom half of the second inning, and the Bruins have taken a 4-0 lead.
Coming into this game, Brandon Hobeck has had 11 hits. Been to bat 38 times.
Strike 2 called, so 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 away. Runner at third is Oxenfeld. And Phillips gets Hobeck to swing at the ball. It got away from the catcher, so he'll make the put out at first base. And Hobeck will be the 3rd out of the inning. But the Bruins come up with 3 runs on 3 hits. Also a sacrifice is McKendry. Got credit for that. And after 2 full now, the Bruins lead 4-0. They have 4 runs on 5 hits, and the Crabbers no runs on no hits. Due up for Hampton, Josh Lively, the left fielder. He'll be followed by the DH, Kevin Smith, and the 3rd baseman, John Lagerman.
Well, coming up on WHCS Channel 5 Sports, of course, Monday we will have the Phoebus girls playing over here at Bethel against the Lady Bruins, and then on the 11th
that won't be on Channel 5 Monday, though. We'll be here
to do it for Channel 5, and then on the 11th of May we will do a doubleheader down at Darling with all 4 of the Hampton soccer teams, so that'll be things to look forward to. You mean we're not live, Tim?
Not yet, but we're working on it. We did some live football. Recall, was it year before last?
Yep.
Did some in cooperation with Warner Cable. As rapidly as we're advancing here, it won't be any time at all. We'll be beaming it back by the satellite. So Josh Lively will step in to lead off the top of the third for the Hampton Crabbers. Lively on the season, batting .250, 8 hits in 32 at-bats. First pitch almost killed our crowd, Mike.
That was coming right towards my head. I did a great job of flinching.
High and outside for a ball. Oxenfeld working rapidly, delivers call, strike one.
But you notice in the Kickingham game, he works fast. He doesn't waste a whole lot of time or motion. He's ready to you get up the bat, he's ready to throw it.
And as a batter, I always appreciated that. I hate those pitchers that would stand out there and they'd hike their pants up and check their socks and, you know, scratch their head and all that stuff. And I like a pitcher that is ready when I'm ready.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like a pitcher like him because he strike me out 90% of the time. Hit on the right side to the second baseman.
Marty Harney, and a nice throw.
Over to first for the second.
That's one of the toughest. That's one of the toughest plays in baseball because you have to wait for that ball to come down because of a high hopper like that.
So the first out of the inning, and the batter now, Kevin Smith, the DH. Kevin comes in the game batting just a little less than 300, 296. Got an on-base percentage of .459. First pitch to Smith is a ball. Went out here in the top of the third. Fouled back. Yeah, you saw that just before that, the last job of digging that throw out by the first baseman. Justin Burns has done a real good job over at first base here.
He has that.
Big bender for a called strike. That one just caught the inside of the plate on the left-handed batter. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball is fouled away. Like to have seen the gun on that one. That one looked like it had some steam on it.
I tell you, he got a piece of it, but he was so late hitting that ball. I tell you, he had a little smoke on it.
In the dirt. 2-2. One of those waste pitches there where you know the batter is going to have to be guarding the plate. Get him to swing at a bad pitch. To his credit, Kevin Smith would not bite. This one is hit back to the pitcher, Oxenfeld. Over to first for the out.
Good job up there.
So 2 outs in the inning, and now the batter will be John Lagerman, a name that a lot of people would be familiar with if you follow high school football on the peninsula.
And John's probably also one of the pitchers on this Hampton Crabber team.
Good job. Let's start off.
Lagerman batting 167 on the season, but a 3.61 or 361 on base average. Takes a call strike. 1-1 with 2 away, nobody on. Oxenfeld right now has mowed down the Hampton Crabbers 8 in a row. Strike 2 on the big breaking ball. Working quickly, Oxenfeld high, no swing, although he thought about it.
Well, and again, we talked about that high pitch. It looks so good and so big up there. You almost tempted to swing at it, even though you know it's a ball.
It was bigger than life. In the dirt. 2-2.
Fine up there. Good job.
Check that, 3-2 rather.
Full count.
Two-hopper to the shortstop's got to wait for it to come down over to first for the out.
Hey, Paul Hall really impresses me as only a sophomore playing that shortstop position for these Bruins, Tim.
So the ground out from Lagerman to end the inning, and we have played now 2.5 innings, and the Crabbers, no hits, no runs. Get a chance to watch this one again. That's that high hopper where the shortstop has to wait for it, and then a good throw, and again a low throw.
Yeah.
And Justin Burns has truly earned his keep over at first base.
He has dug him out of the dirt all day today, you're right. Tim, on this Crabber team, you only got 2 seniors, and that's the young man pitching, Adam Phillips and John Logeman. Those are the only 2 seniors that Danny has. So
that bodes well, doesn't it?
But he's got a young team. They're in 3rd place. 2 games he should have beat, he feels, that were against the Warwick Raiders that would have had him in tie for 2nd right now.
The Bruins will send up Justin Burns, Marty Harney, and the DH Chris Morant in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Bruins have 5 hits and 4 runs. And Phillips has issued, let's see if I can keep track of 1, 2, 3 in the 1st inning and 1 in the 2nd. So he's got 4 bases on balls. Phillips has had a little difficulty with this control. Burns got a walk in the 1st inning. 278 coming into the game. Still batting 278 as a matter of fact.
He's had 6 bases on balls this year, so.
Takes the ball 1 low. Good look at Adam Phillips, the right-handed pitcher for the Crabbers. This one is again low and outside, so he falls behind the batter 2-0. Justin Burns, who right now would get the vote for best defensive effort on the afternoon for his play over at first base, taking out a couple of close plays.
That was just off the corner. It looked like a good pitch. It's one of those kind of pitches you go for because it's so close.
Well, that's where if you're the batter, you don't have to because the count was in your favor.
Right.
But if you're the other way, if it's 0-2, you got to go for that.
Go for it. Yeah, that's why it was a good location.
How you stand in the count, and I don't mean to insult anyone's intelligence. Any baseball regular will know this, but where you stand in the count is so important as to what the pitcher has to do. This one is hit sharply to left field, way back, and it is a goner. So Justin Burns has tagged one over the fence. Let's see if Mr. Burns has done that previously this year. No, that's his first dinger of the season. And he got all of that one.
Oh, he did that.
And that's not any short fence either. That's about 350.
Well, I know it's 355 down at the deep center. Is that what's the 355 deep center. It's 325. So you're probably at least 330, Tim.
And that ball easily made it over the fence. So he truly got all of that one. So Marty Harney now steps in, and Marty was a strikeout victim in the 1st inning. So the Bruins as a team all season have hit 6 home runs, and we have seen 4 of them.
Bouchard want us to keep coming to these ball games, won't he?
Actually, they've hit 7 now, including that one, but we saw
more than half.
Here.
More than half of them, haven't we?
In just the 2 games we've been here, actually 1.5 games we've been here. In the dirt, that was a tough play there. Ryan Reed will fill that one on his arm. He Tried to stop that one with his body as it hit the dirt. Toughest job on the field.
That's got to be.
Right after the umpires. Phillips delivers. This one's hit to the left side, out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike. Nobody out here in the third. Justin Burns tagged the ball for a home run to lead off the third inning. Call strike.
That's that pitch, almost the same location to the one that he called a ball a minute ago. Just, it's a tough one to let go.
Popped up, and the pitcher will make the grab for the first out. So 1 away now, and the designated hitter, Chris Morant.
Mom, get Aaron a drink too. What kind do you want? Get it. I want Dr. Pepper. Thank you.
Chris batting left-handed. Took care of that 0 for 6 hitting coming into the game and takes the pitch just on the outside corner.
I was worried about
Same spot. This one is fouled down the right field line, or left field line rather, and it's out of play. So Phillips ahead of the batter, something that has not been the case for the first 2.5 innings. He has struggled getting that ball into the strike zone.
Yeah, he really has.
Issued 4 walks in the first 2 innings.
He's thrown a lot of pitches. I'm sure he's thrown them twice as many as, or even more than that, than what Chris Oxenfeld has.
This one's off the plate. That was the old waist pitch. He didn't mean for it to be quite that far outside. A ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. Looks like he's trying to throw a knuckler or something out there. Is kind of a different delivery on that pitch. 2-2. Ryan Reed, the catcher, has been a very active player this afternoon. He's been all over the place. Foul tip, call, strike 3. That's 2 outs. Reed thought that was 3, but in fact it's only 2. All right, we'll return to Bethel Park for the continuation of our coverage right after this brief timeout. Batter is Andy McKendry. He hits this one to right field, and Mike Smith in to make the grab for the third out. So the Bruins get 1 run on 1 hit. The home run by Justin Burns. And after 3 full, they lead the Crabbers 5-0. If you joined us late, to recap very quickly for you, Alfred Terrell led off for the Bruins. And here's the catch by Mike Smith. He's made that an interesting catch there as he fell down just as he caught it.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure he stayed underneath it. That was a good shot from that center field camera.
But Terrell led off and ultimately scored the first run of the ball game in the first inning. And Adam Phillips was able to get a strikeout with the bases loaded and prevent further scoring by the Bruins in the first. In the second inning, Alfred Terrell, Paul Hall, and Chris Morant all scored as the Bruins put together 3 hits and 3 runs to make it 4-0 after 2. And then Justin Burns with the home run over the left field fence to lead off the third inning. And then after that, Phillips was able to get the side in order. But again, the Bruins lead now 5-0. And the other part of this story right now is Chris Oxenfeld has yet to allow anyone from the Hampton side to reach base as we go into the fourth. 7 innings will be the regulation time for this game. And we're at the top of the order for Hampton as Matt Westheimer will be followed by Luke Wheeler and the right fielder Mike Smith.
It makes me sad.
Westheimer was a ground-out victim, short to first in the first inning.
Westheimer's got a 378 on base percentage average.
Right here, Matt.
Oh, what a nice, did you see that break in there? Nice pitch.
Looking over at the Hampton side to see some familiar faces from years past. Of course, Hank Morgan's dad, Henry Morgan, was a baseball player at Hampton, and big guy sitting up on the
end. You know, you can't miss him, can you? Big redhead.
Big Red, Mr. Trevelyan.
And I saw John Wheeler walking around here.
Good job, Mike.
So the strikeout to the first batter. And the put out for the catcher as the ball again got away in the dirt. Luke Wheeler will be the second Hampton Crabber up. He's batting .368 coming into the game.
.477 on base average.
Strikeout victim in the first. Takes the first pitch up high. Swing and a miss. 10 Crabbers in a row. The first 10 to face Mr. Oxenfeld have gone by the wayside. In the dirt.
Sure.
I already had pop for breakfast. So now I'll eat for a drink. And then David Barnes owes me.
So when he pays up,
Oh.
Big curveball. I'll tell you.
Man, he's got that curve working, doesn't he?
And the left-handers have got to, they got to flinch every once in a while, because when you see that ball coming at you and then it just breaks in and crosses the corner of the plate, it's got to be frustrating. Yeah, it was right down the pipe there. That was the second strikeout of the inning. That's 5 in the ball game for Oxenfeld, and it'll bring up the right fielder, Mike Smith, who also was a K in the first inning.
He's got a .488 on base percentage average, just a sophomore for this team. One of the pitchers. In fact, he's pitched 28 innings coming into today's contest. He's not pitching today, playing right field, but PRA at 1.5. That's not bad.
Swing and a miss, and Oxenfeld is in a groove right now. Head of the batter, 0-2. 2 away. Top of the fourth. Off the plate. Fastball high and outside.
Still way out in front. I'll be thinking. Got several pitches to go to. Go, Mike, go, Did he go? Yes, he did.
So on the appeal, the first base umpire says yes, the batter did commit. So Oxenfeld strikes the side out in the fourth inning. And that is 6 strikeouts in just 4 innings for the big left-hander. So the Bruins, in the bottom half of the fourth inning, will have the top of the order with Alfred Terrell, Paul Hall, and the pitcher, Oxenfeld, coming to bat. Phillips continues to throw for Hampton. Adam Phillips. Run down the lineup again for you if you joined us late. Get a chance to see whether or not you thought that was a committed strike three, and in fact it was ruled to be so by the base umpire. The Crabbers have got Adam Phillips pitching. The catcher is Ryan Reed. First baseman is Luke Wheeler. Second baseman Matt Westheimer. Hank Morgan is shortstop. John Luggeman is the third baseman. Josh Lively, left fielder. Steve Redfern is the center fielder, and Mike Smith is your right fielder for Danny Mitchell's 8-4 Hampton Crabbers.
You had a chance to get over to Hampton High School and look at that field that they've got over there now?
No, I haven't, Bob.
Oh man, I tell you, it is the class. Danny Mitchell and his people have done just an outstanding job. They finally got the fence up this year. They've got some signs on the fence out deep, and really looks good. The infield is just excellent. They've really done a lot of work on it. If you'd have saw that thing 2 years ago, there's no way you would have believed it would have looked anything like it does. And a lot of that effort goes to Danny Mitchell because he did a lot of that work himself. And we're being invaded.
One of the big iron birds in the sky. Headed over to Langley. All right, so it's Terrell to lead off for the Bruins in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Phillips delivers the strike. Terrell on the afternoon is 1 for 1. He singled in the first and walked in the second, and he has scored twice. Watches the pitch inside for a ball. A little bit low, ball 2. Wind is blowing in with the pitcher now. And it's been pretty gusty.
It just kind of changed on it, hasn't it?
Caught the outside corner. 2-2. Terrell followed by Hall and Oxenfeld. This one is hit to left center, and it's going to drop in there for a base hit. So Terrell is 2 for 2. He thinks about going towards second, but Crabbers get the ball back in pretty quickly.
Hey, center fielder Steve Redfern did a great job of knocking the ball down, not letting it get by him. Or Terrell would have gone on to second because he's got the speed.
So for the fourth inning in a row, the Bruins have the first leadoff batter of the inning on base. I guess you could say that in the third. They got the home run from Burns. He didn't stay on the base very long.
I was going to say, he went all the way around, didn't he?
Never even slowed down. First pitch to Hall was a call strike. Quick throw over to first, and back easily is Terrell. On the corner. So Phillips gets ahead of the batter. Hall, he's 0-2. Hall talking to himself up there, says, I don't think so. I don't like that pitch.
He may have been talking to himself, but his head shaking was for the benefit of the plate umpire.
This one is hit to right field for a base hit. Terrell had to hold up to make sure it wasn't caught. But the Bruins continue to hit the ball well as the base hit to right field by Paul Hall will bring up the pitcher, Chris Oxenfeld. Chris flying out to the center fielder sharply in the first inning, and then he singled in the second. There you see the base hit and quickly back into the infield.
That was a great throw. No way Terrell was going anywhere but to second.
So nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth. Caught the inside corner of the plate for a call strike. Just outside a bit. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. Bethel 5, Hampton no score. 2-2 the count. Check that, 2-1 the count rather. 2 balls and 1 strike. Foul back out of play. Now it's 2-2. Bethel 10-2 in second place behind Kigatan, who holds the lead with a 11-1, and Hampton in third place with an 8-4 record. So 3 of the Hampton City schools atop the Peninsula District standings, and this one hits sharply for a base hit to right field. Oxenfeld will hold up at first, and Terrell will score for the 3rd time in the ball game. And into third base goes Paul Hall on the play.
Those are 3 solid hits.
So 3 singles and another run across the plate. Here's the base hit to right field. And you can see Terrell scoring easily. The attempt to get Hall at third base was late, and Oxenfeld held up at first. So they're on the corners again. And the batter is the catcher, Mike Revere, who takes the first pitch for a called strike. Still nobody out for the Bruins. Now they lead 6-0.
Well, Mike's got 3 home runs, Tim. We got to see 2 of them.
Over to second for 1 out. Over to first, double play. So the Crabbers turned the double play, and they're not out of the inning, but that certainly will help their cause.
It will that. Excellent play.
We'll watch the double play. Phillips again helps his own cause with a good heads-up play, knowing that the runner was at first so he could get the lead runner, and they still kept the runner at third. Hall could not advance on the play.
Tim, that was excellent camera work. You see the great move that Phillips did to throw the ball to the shortstop covering the base, and then the throw over to first. I mean, the camera's right on the money.
Well, let me tell you, of all the sports that we've covered, baseball, in my opinion, is the most difficult to cover.
Yeah.
Because of all the variables.
Well, and the spread out too. Where in basketball, you're pretty well confined. You know where what's happening. Everybody's at one end of the court. In football, they're all facing each other. You're right. There's not the variables, but just the spread out of the players.
1 ball and 2 strikes on the batter, Brandon Hobeck. He walked in the first inning, hits this one sharply to left field, and it's caught by Josh Lively for the 3rd out of the inning. But the Bruins score 1 more time, as Alfred Terrell now has scored 3 times in the ballgame. They do so on 3 singles. So 9 hits and 6 runs unofficially for the Bruins. And the Hampton Crabbers coming up to lead off the top half of the 5th inning. They'll have the pitcher Phillips, followed by the center fielder Redfern, and the shortstop Hank Morgan. The 3 batters due up to face Chris Oxenfeld. Left-hander. They got the gun on him today. I'd be curious to see what kind of numbers he's registered, but we haven't been privy to that information.
I don't know if they're going to give it to us.
I don't know whether there's some college scouts out here checking him out or what exactly, but...
Most of them are pros, Tim. He is talking about signing as soon as school's over.
Not that they would probably use him as such, but his .421 batting average isn't going to hurt his chances of possibly playing as well. Leads the team with 15 ribbies.
All right, Dave. See you later.
As we look around at the sports complex here at Bethel Park, there you see some of the soccer players getting some action here on this beautiful Friday afternoon, the 29th of April. And again, we remind you that we'll have soccer action for you here on Channel 5. We'll have the 4 Hampton City schools involved in a doubleheader soccer match on the 11th of May. We'll have that for you here on Channel 5. Adam Phillips, the pitcher, grounded out in the second inning, facing Chris Oxenfeld. First pitch is a little bit high. The curveball stayed up there above the letters for a ball.
Adams is batting a .474. He's top of the line for the Crabbers. He's got a .555 on base average. He's high there too, Tim. And putouts, he's got 48 putouts. Second only to young Mr. Wheeler, who has 86.
So Chris falls behind his counterpart, 3-0 to lead off the fifth. And misses for ball 4. So the leadoff batter, Phillips, is the first base runner of the ball game for the Hampton Crabbers. And that'll bring up Steve Redfern, the center fielder. Redfern struck out at his only time up in the second. Redfern comes into the game batting .242. First pitch from Oxenfeld is high for a ball. So Chris having a little difficulty with the control here to start the fifth. Walked the leadoff batter. It's ball 2. Quick throw down to first. Back in time is Phillips.
Step up and think about what you're doing. Go back to base. You can do it. Relax yourself. You're fine.
So again, Oxenfeld struggling with the control to the second batter of the inning. Falls behind 3-0 to Redfern.
Stay back. Keep yourself down.
On deck is Hank Morgan, and in the hole is Josh Lively. And ball 4. So consecutive bases on balls to the first 2 batters of the inning. And Hank Morgan will step in. Morgan lined out to the first baseman in the second. So runners at first and second with nobody out.
Well, 9th base on ball that Redfern has gotten this year.
Call strike on the outside corner to the right-handed batter. He didn't believe it, but that's not up for discussion, as they say. The big bender for strike 2, almost the identical pitch.
Hey, don't force it now. You're way out in front.
Hank says, no way. That was, he didn't like that one.
A little bit low for a ball. Top half of the 5th inning. 6-0 in favor of the Bethel Bruins. Swing and a miss, and Hank Morgan goes down swinging, and that'll bring up the center fielder, or check that, the left fielder rather, Josh Lively.
Batting .250 for the Crabbers at a .405 on percentage on base average.
Lively grounded out in the 3rd inning, and he swings at the first pitch and misses. One away in the 5th for Hampton. You're watching Hampton and Bethel. Tim Cole and Bob Hintz coming to you from Bethel Park. Friday afternoon, the 29th of April was when this one was videotaped. Runners are moving down to third and not in time as the double steal is successful for the Crabbers. One and one the count to the batter, Lively. But now the Crabbers with runners on second and third with one out. Foul down the first base line.
Couldn't quite get around on it. Got a solid hit.
So Oxenfeld is ahead of the batter, 1 ball and 2 strikes. One out in the 5th.
Way ahead now, way ahead, don't rush it.
In the dirt, good stop by Mike Revere. Tell you, the catcher can make all the difference.
Keep that ball in front of him.
This field, like the Kickintan field, has a very short distance from where the catcher sets up to the backstop. Just off the plate. So the count runs full on Josh Lively. One away, runners at second and third. Due up is the DH, Kevin Smith. He's on deck. So the base on balls to Lively, and that'll load him up.
And that's the third base on balls.
Third of the inning.
Let's go, in control now, you're in control.
I don't know what the physical statistics on Kevin Smith are, but he's a big man.
I don't either, you're right.
Good size, youngster. And he hits this one just out of the reach of the third baseman. What a nice effort on the part of the third baseman down there, and that's Brandon Ward. A diving attempt.
Way to get out in front. Good hustle, Brandon.
0-1 the count. Bases are full of Hampton Crabbers. One out. Strike call. So Smith falls behind on the count. 0-2.
Kevin has had 8 hits at 27 times at bat.
And swings and misses on a high pitch. So Oxenfeld goes upstairs and is able to get the second out of the inning. And now this will bring up the 9th batter, John Loggeman.
Be tough up there, you're right in control. Pressure's on this.
Loggeman grounded out in the 3rd to end the inning. The Crabbers still have the bases full. But now Oxenfeld has 2 outs. This one hit to the second baseman. Over to first, in time for the 3rd out. Standing up, right?
Yeah. Oh, here, yeah. Okay. Matt Westheimer.
I don't mean standing upright. I mean standing up, right? I know you can stand upright. You got a new pitcher, huh?
Yeah, we're going to bring a new one. He was playing second base. Who's he got over at second now?
Who's on first, right?
Second is Chris Johnson is at second now, number 4.
Johnson, number 4 spot. Inferno, number 5 spot.
Paferno is number 5 spot, which is third base.
Batting at number 5 spot.
Oh, he's batting number. Oh, I'm sorry. He's batting number 5 spot.
Hawkins, number 7 spot.
Now, Hawkins is batting in number 7 spot.
Got a new pitcher.
Have we got the new pitcher? This Ahmad Hawkins. Number 3's in. Frank Lafano is in, as is Chris Johnson.
You know, looking at my statistics here, Bob, and unless we've
don't see him.
unless we've had a number change, Westheimer is pitching for the first time. So we've had some shifting of the players on the field. We'll get you up to date on those as they present themselves. But we do have a change in the pitching. And number 7, who is listed with us as the starting second baseman to begin with, Westheimer. And the leadoff batter for the Bruins is Justin Burns, and he's behind the count 0-1. Pitch is a little high for a ball.
Burns has had 10 hits coming into this inning. What's he done so far today?
Well, this afternoon, all he's done is walk and hit a home run.
That's it, huh?
Swings and can't get a hold of that one.
So we can up this batting average a wee bit too, can't we?
Oh, yeah. 1 for 1 on the afternoon, and you get your little handy calculator there. We'll give him an update.
Well, I didn't bring my calculator. Use that one over there. It's got all the buttons on it.
I don't believe the young lady keeping the scoreboard would appreciate me doing that. Ball is low for a ball. 2-2. Nobody out here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Bethel on top. They led 1-0 after 1 inning. They led 4-0 after 2, 5-0 after 3, and 6-0 after 4. And this is a swing and a miss. For the first out, that is Justin Burns going down swinging. That'll bring up the second baseman, Marty Harney. Marty struck out in the first and popped out to the pitcher in the third. Ball low. Six runs on 9 hits for the Bruins. No runs and no hits for Hampton. So 3-0 to count as Westheimer falls behind on Harney. Due up is the designated hitter, Chris Morant. So 4 pitches, and Harney is on base.
And that's his 8th base on ball this year.
Chris Morant 1 for 2 on the afternoon. He sacrificed in the first inning, had a single in the second, and struck out in the third. Ball is high for a ball. And again, I hope we have indicated the right name to go along with this pitcher, because we do not have any way of checking it at the moment, but he does not show up in the pitching statistics at all. So maybe he's been waiting for his opportunity. Always worries me when we can't find a statistic to go along with a pitcher.
Yeah.
Brief conference with Danny Mitchell, the coach. I'm sure he's trying to settle down Westheimer and just tell him, look, don't worry about things now. Just take your time, take a deep breath, throw strikes.
No strikes. Use the rest of your team.
So Westheimer falls behind on Morant 3-0. Runner on first with one out. And a call strike. Batter is running the ball, hit sharply back to Westheimer, who sticks with it and gets the out at first base.
Man, that ball hit him hard, Tim.
That ball was hit hard. It was tagged, and he used his body to stop it.
Well, I don't think he had a whole lot of choice. I don't think he could have gotten out of the way.
I think you're right.
Wow.
But he was able to stay with it. Danny Mitchell, of course, wants to make sure he's okay, and Westheimer says, yep, I'm fine, Coach.
Might have a bruise tomorrow, but right now I'm okay.
So the batter now will be Andy McKendry, as we'll see this again, as you saw the ball, and he kept it in front of him. And then a good job of getting it over to the first baseman, Luke Wheeler, for the out. So McKendry steps to the plate. Runner on second with two away. Bottom half of the fifth inning.
McKendry batting .314.
Just inside to McKendry.
Had 11 hits. And two of them have been singles, I'm sorry.
Long throw to first in time to get McKendry.
Another close call.
Another close call is right, but one of those bang-bang plays, and McKendry is out to end the inning. So just one base on balls given up in the inning. A strong pitching performance by Westheimer as he comes in relief and allows no hits, no runs. And after 5 full, there you see the replay of the stop by the shortstop, and just did get him. Nicked him at first base. So we've completed 5 innings. It's the Bruins 6 and the Hampton Crabbers no score. Top half of the 6th inning, we'll find the leadoff batter, Westheimer, who has moved from his second base position to the pitcher's position. And of course, all these changes, I think most of the changes did not affect personnel changes as far as the roster, but we'll keep you informed as we go. And we apologize if you're hearing some noise on your audio. That is the wind blowing rather briskly here. A breezy afternoon at Bethel Park. Let's set the lineup for you for the Bruins in the field. As we start the top of the 6th, of course, the pitcher continues to be Chris Oxenfeld. Mike Revere is our catcher. Justin Burns is the first baseman. Marty Harney at second. Paul Hall is at shortstop. Third baseman is Brandon Ward. Left fielder Alfred Terrell. Andy McKendry is the center fielder. And we'll watch that play again at first, see if you can see how close that was. And rounding out the defense, Brandon Hobeck is in right field. See if you can see. Here comes the throw and the batter.
Oh, have that camera people on it or what?
Great stretch by Luke Wheeler. You don't think he's John Wheeler's son by any chance, do you?
I don't know. I see John at these games, Tim, so...
yeah, I imagine there's a good chance of that. Yep, the umpire crew has done a good job this afternoon. Base umpire has had to make some real close calls on the bases, and one, as I mentioned, rather controversial call early in the ball game at third. But I'll tell you, the two-man crew for baseball is tough.
Yeah, it really is. But you know, the game we did over at Kickotan with these Bruins, same way, just a two-man crew. Timba did a great job, and then at the softball game, I have the officiating has just been excellent in softball and baseball that we have seen so far.
When you consider that the pros use 4, minimum of 4, it's tough. That first base umpire has got to cover a lot of ground, and the home plate umpire has to do the same. And we should recognize these gentlemen again: Ed Freeman on the bases and Ken Galt behind the plate. In the dirt. 2-2 the count. Leadoff batter Matt Westheimer. He grounded out and struck out. He's 0 for 2 on the afternoon, and he leads off the 6th inning for Hampton, trailing 6-0. Swing and a miss. So the second time Westheimer goes down swinging. 9 strikeouts for Mr. Oxenfeld. And this will bring up the first baseman, Luke Wheeler. Swing and a miss as Oxenfeld is getting back in form here after having a difficult 5th inning in the fact that he walked 3 batters.
Luke Wheeler, Tim, has 86 putouts for the Crabbers. The next closest guy is Adams Phillips with 48. That means he's in a lot of action.
Well, your first baseman's going to be on the receiving end of a lot of that, of course. Hit to the third baseman. Oh, he drops the ball. That'll be an error. And he got him at first. Whoa. I was a little premature on that call.
You would call that an error, which it would have been, but he beat it out.
Well, no, he didn't beat it out. He got him.
I'm sorry. I meant, yeah, the runner got beat out. What a nice throw.
Here, watch this again, and I was quite sure that he was not going to be able to get him, but stayed with the ball. And again, a great stretch by Justin Burns, who has just done a great job at first base this afternoon, making that long stretch to the third baseman and the shortstop, and boy, that makes a big difference.
Well, that cuts a good step and a half, depending on how far you can stretch.
So I apologize. I started to tag Brandon Ward with an error before the fact. But sometimes that ball is hit right to you, and you're saying, well, gee, this is too easy, and that's what happened that time. He just dropped the ball, but stuck with it and was able to throw the runner out.
Well, Mike Smith coming into the game batting .316. One of the pitchers, I thought we might see a little of him or somebody, one of the others, but Danny threw Westheimer in on us. Playing right field.
Smith has struck out his only other 2 times at bat. Takes a call, strike. 3-1. Chris Oxenfeld with 2 out here in the 6th. Just off the plate for a ball. So the Crabbers get a base runner, only the 4th base runner in the ball game. And that'll bring up Adam Phillips, who started at pitcher. Two away in the 6th.
Control. Stay in control now.
Mike Smith, the runner at first. Call strike.
Boy, he does a good job getting a corner, Tim.
You can hear that pop when he throws it. He is really tossing that ball in there. Good stop by the catcher, but he was not going to be able to keep Smith from advancing to second. Revere digs it out of the dirt, has to chase it down. So the Crabbers advance the runner to second. 2 balls and 1 strike to Phillips. This one is hit to short center field for the first base hit of the ball game for the Crabbers. The ball is not in time, as scoring from second on the single is Smith.
That was a big hit, first one of the game, but it's that pass ball, Tim, allowed the runner to get into scoring position.
Well, I would have to call it a wild pitch and not a pass ball, but you're right. That's exactly what happened, and Smith able to score. Kind of surprised that they were a little bit nonchalant about getting that ball in from center field. It wasn't hit that deeply.
It looked like they were.
I don't think they thought Smith was going to try and score.
Yeah, I think that was the whole key. And
so good aggressive base running. And now Steve Redfern will step to the plate. Let's get a chance to watch this again. This is a definite hit. There was no question about that ball. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. It was there, and then almost making the play. Great job, Scotty, on the director there, doing a great job of covering the action with our 3 camera positions.
And we got Jerome Young doing the slow motion machine, and Bianca Petaway on the graphics.
Yep.
What was that he said?
And with only 3 cameras, so that was right. That's excellent. I mean, they used everybody and everything that time to get us good coverage, as always. So the Crabbers have snapped the hitless streak. Oxenfeld with a no-hitter through 5 2/3 innings finally gives up a single to Adam Phillips. This one hit to the right side. Second baseman comes up with it over to first, and that's retired for the side. So the Crabbers come up with 1 hit and 1 run. And Chris Oxenfeld loses his no-hitter in the 6th inning. His bid for the no-hitter, I should say. He didn't lose the game, but Bruins in the bottom half of the 6th inning. We'll have the top of the order. Alfred Terrell, Paul Hall, and Chris Oxenfeld. The 3 batters due up in the 6th, and they'll be facing Matt Westheimer again. Did a good job. In fact, in the 5th inning was the first time in the ball game that Bethel did not score in the inning. Of course, reminding you that the high school ball is 7 innings of regulation play. We had to go an extra inning last week to see the Bruins beat the Kecoughtan Warriors. The Warriors' only loss on the season. They are 11-1. Bruins are 10-2. After beating Kecoughtan on Friday, the Bruins lost the next day. I believe they lost to Menchville, I believe it was.
Yes, it was Menchville, and it was after they had and this is what really made the Bouchard mad, is they had like a 5-run lead, and then they just kind of played lackadaisical. They just, didn't just start taking everything too easy and too lightly, like similar to that play in center field with Smith scoring last inning. You got to stay intense and in the game at all times, and that's a game that Boo feels they should have won. And of course, what's important about that, Tim, is whoever wins the regular season gets that automatic bid to the regionals, and that's a big move. I don't care who you're going with, because that means you go into the district tournament, and you can be, you can rest some of your people if you have to, if you got a pitcher that needs some rest. But if you got to win it, now you can't do that.
Call strike. 1-1.
A little inside. First questionable call, maybe.
Inside corner.
Yeah, really.
Outside for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike to the leadoff batter, Alfred Terrell. Terrell has had a fine afternoon. He is 2 for 2, and he has scored 3 times. Has half of the Bruins' output. 3-1 the count. And this one is ball 4. So Terrell keeps his perfect afternoon going. 2 for 2 and 2 walks.
Brings up young Paul Hall.
Paul got a single in the first, single in the second, and a single in the fourth. So he's got a good-looking afternoon going as well. He's 3 for 3.
Well, he's bolstered that 257 average up.
Terrell going on the pitch. No chance to get him. He was in there long before the ball got to the shortstop. Ball was in the dirt to the defense of Ryan Reed. He never had a chance on that play.
It's not a good throw, and the catcher is kind of hitting himself in the head. He knew when he let go of it, it wasn't a good throw.
But he would have never gotten him anyway.
No, Alfred's got a lot of speed, had a good jump.
Nobody out, 1 ball to count. Bottom of the 6th. A little bit high for ball 2. You can hear the wind still blowing in. A little bit low, ball 3. Won the count. Hit to the first baseman, stops the ball, but will not have a play as he can't get it over to the pitcher covering in time. And that was a tough chance for the first baseman. That'll be a base hit, I would think.
Yeah, I tell you, that was a well-hit ball. He did a great job of keeping it in front of him, but they bounced off, and he just never could get to the ball in time.
So making the assumption that the official scorer would see it the same way, we'll get a chance to watch it again here. This really handcuffed the first baseman. It took a bad hop on him. Just never had a chance, but looks like Paul Hall, unofficially, 4 for 4.
Hey, what a nice afternoon that is.
So runners again at the corners, nobody out, and the pitcher, Oxenfeld, takes a call strike. Mike Revere is on deck. Brandon Holbeck is in the hole. So twice in a row, Westheimer is able to get the inside call. Westheimer with the high heat. One ball and 2 strikes.
Look good, Chris, look good. Good 2-strike hitter tonight. Good flat.
I'm good.
Swing and a miss. So Chris Oxenfeld goes down swinging for the first out.
He wanted that bad, Tim. If he'd have connected it, we wouldn't have. He might have knocked Trevere off of that truck out there, right center.
So Mike Rivera will step in. He walked in the first inning. He grounded out in the second and hit into a double play in the fourth. Strike called. Again, runners on third. That is Alfred Terrell. And the runner at first is Paul Hall.
Okay. Thank you.
hits sharply to left field and in front of the left fielder for a base hit, and Terrell will again score. This is his 4th scored run in the afternoon. Every time he's gotten up, he's scored.
And Sim Haley will come in and run for Mike Revere.
So Hall moves to second on the play. Revere with a base hit at first with a substitute runner. And I believe we're going to have a substitution now. Going to have a new player coming in for Brandon Hobeck.
Well, how come I don't have number 4?
I don't know. You're the man with the numbers.
Number 5 spot.
Okay, that's Nick Hobbs. I got him as 14 instead of 4. Okay.
Well, good. Well, glad we got him identified appropriately. That's number 4, Hobbs. Batting for Brandon Hobeck. Takes the first pitch for a strike at the letters. Runners at first and second. 1 away here in the 6th. 7 runs across now for the Bruins. They lead 7-1. Swing and a miss by Hobbs. So quickly, Westheimer ahead on the count.
And it's away, and I'm not sure where
Foul back out of play. Young Westheimer's looked pretty good so far, Bob.
He really has.
Done a good job.
I'm impressed with him if this is the first time he's pitched this year. Then he's found himself another pitcher.
A little bit high with this one. So it was a called strike, I believe. I was looking away for just a minute, Bob.
Yeah,
But
he swung at the ball, Tim.
the ball got away.
It wasn't a call, it was a swing. It was a low pitch and into the dirt, but he went for it. But got on base anyway.
So the bases are full of Bruins now.
What has young Justin done today besides 1 home run?
Was he out at first?
Well, the first base was, okay, it was
occupied. So he couldn't.
occupied. That's right, he couldn't run. Okay. But the runners could advance at their own risk.
Right.
That's what it was. Okay.
Okay, messed me all up.
I'm sorry. Well,
No, you didn't. This is scorekeeping in baseball is the most difficult thing. Give me anything else but scorekeeping in baseball. This is Justin Burns at bat. Scoreboard shows 1 out.
In fact, 2.
I believe there are 2 outs.
Yeah, Oxenfeld struck out, and then so it is 2 outs.
So my lovely scorekeeper to my left here was just as confused on that play as I was. The pitch is high for a ball. Ball 3, 3-1 the count. 2 away in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Runners at second and third. Paul Hall at third. And the pitch is a ball to Justin Burns, so he will reach base again. Burns had the home run in the 3rd inning and walked in the 1st and the 6th.
Marty Harney.
So Harney steps in. He is 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Popped out, struck out, and walked. First pitch is a little bit low for a ball.
That wind feels like it's blowing almost straight in now, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Call strike. 1-1. Bases loaded with 2 outs in the 6th. Harney fouls it back.
I did the same thing. When I looked up and saw he was gone, I picked it up.
What's the rule on that, Mike? They can't advance, but runner up first. Fouled down the third baseline. Almost took off the coach's head with that one.
Now he was bailing out, I tell you.
Boo will stand behind the fence from now on.
I would.
Harney way out in front of that pitch.
I think he liked that pitch.
You'd like to have another crack at that one, too. A ball and 2 strikes. Hit sharply to left field, but it looks like it's playable just in foul territory for the 3rd out of the inning.
Nice catch.
All right, we'll return to Bethel Park for the 7th inning of action after this brief timeout. There you see Old Glory at half-mast in memory and honor of our recently departed president, former President Nixon, out here at Bethel Park. As we move to the top half of the 7th inning, Chris Oxenfeld with a one-hitter. That one hit in the 6th inning. And of course, it did result in a run. Actually, his downfall was a base on balls because the young man who scored reached on a walk.
That was Adam Phillips, wasn't it? They got to hit the starting pitcher?
Yep, Phillips, the only batter to hit a safety against Chris Oxenfeld. Hank Morgan, shortstop, steps to the plate. He lined out to first baseman in the 2nd inning and struck out in the 5th.
Good job up there. Way to get the hit.
Oxenfeld quickly ahead on the count, 0-1. Just off the plate, 1-1 the count.
Relax now. Stay within yourself.
High for a ball. And again, we want to thank the folks here at Bethel Park for all of their assistance in our setup this afternoon. Coach and AD Kozlowski, Dennis Kozlowski, always a gentleman, and everybody else associated here at Bethel High School for all of their help. 2nd hit of the ball game. Hank Morgan, no doubt about it, singles right up the middle. And that'll bring up the left fielder, Josh Lively. Well, actually it won't, because in his place will be a substitute.
And who we got there? That is number 3, Ahmad Hawkins.
So Hawkins will pinch hit for Lively.
There's another young man played wide receiver for the Crabbers. Guy's got real good speed, Tim.
Just off the plate for ball 2. Hank Morgan down at first base. There you see him in the corner of your picture.
Yeah, the little hit got a smile from Henry.
2 balls and 1 strike. Nobody out here in the top of the 7th. You're looking at Ahmad Hawkins. Just low. Hit to the shortstop. Double play ball if they can turn it. And they do. So shortstop to second to first for the double play.
Well, that's the second double play we've seen today. Crabbers turned one.
6-4-3 for the double play. Get a chance to watch this one again. Oxenfeld delivers. Hawkins hit it perfectly to the shortstop, and I say perfectly in a sense for the double play ball.
Look at that camera work. Oh, man.
So now the Crabbers down to their last out of the ball game. And we have, I believe, another substitution.
Yeah, it's number 2. Andy West is batting. This his first appearance today. Danny has used everybody.
Ball 2 high and inside. Crabbers 1 run on 2 hits. Bruins 7 runs. Make sure I did my math here correctly. On 11 hits, unofficially. Call strike.
Good job. Way to get back in there.
2 away, nobody on here at the top of the 7th. Crabbers down to their last out. Swing and a miss, and that's your ball game. So Chris Oxenfeld improves his record with a 2-hitter. A hit in the 6th and a hit in the 7th, the only hits of the ball game by the Hampton Crabbers. And the Bethel Bruins improve their record now to 11-2. And the Hampton Crabbers fall to 8-5 overall, as you see both teams congratulating each other in the middle of the field. Bob, any final comments?
Tim, it was a good job on Chris's part. I think he just picked a good game. The last 2 innings got a little shaky, walked some people, got a couple hits, but very solid performance, and that's what Bouchard wants. He's got to hope that somebody will give him a little help, knock Kicatan off so he can get back in the tie for first place and maybe have a playoff. So he's going along about where he wants to be. And Danny's got a young team. Danny Mitchell got a young team. I think he's found himself another pitcher in this Westheimer. I was real impressed with the way he threw the ball.
He did a fine job, and our congratulations to the Bruins, and in particular, the pitcher, Oxenfeld, for a great afternoon. 2 hits is all he allowed, and congratulations also to Justin Burns for his first home run of the season. Final score again, the Bethel Bruins 7, the Hampton Crabbers 1. For Bob Hintz, this is Tim Cole and the entire crew from Channel 5. Thanks for watching. Again, we remind you, we'll be having you some softball coverage this coming Monday at Bethel Park, and then some soccer on May 11th over at Darling Stadium. Final score again, 7-1 Bethel. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon, everybody.